Okay, welcome to our introduction to graphics, where today we're going to move away from traditional terminal-based programs where you get a terminal output window, and we're going to get some actual graphics and some cool looking stuff to show up. So we're going to start with a new class, and we're just going to call this graphics info, and we'll just leave it as a class. No spaces in there, capital I, capital G on the info and the graphics, and we're going to say OK. And we're going to double click on here. I'll move this up into everyone can see this. And a little bit higher. And I'm going to Control A to get rid of everything and delete. And I've actually taken the liberty on the clipboard is our code. And I'll go slow so that you can go through this. So you've cleared everything out. And the first thing you'll notice is that we have some import statements, different than import statements we've had in the past. All right, so we're importing something called java.awt, that's the abstract window toolkit, and we're importing java.applet, and that is the applet package, so it allows us to draw applets. These asterisks are for indicates to Java that we want to import all of the packages associated with the AWT and the applet package. So everything comes in, not just a few classes. And it gives us the maximum and flexibility. And so we start our class called public class graphics intro, right? Same as the class name that when we defined it. And we see this word extends applet. And what this does is it connects it, and what it does is it makes this an applet. And instead of showing up in a terminal window when we're ready to run it, we will be running it in an applet viewer, or we actually have the ability to put it into, embed it in a web page, which is pretty cool. And so we have one method in here called paint, right? Public void paint graphics G. Okay, so G, a little bit of magic code there. It just kind of has to be there. And all of our, instead of doing system.out.println, we will do a lot of G dot, and then we'll give it a command. So it's actually a little bit shorter than doing the traditional terminal-based programs. And the first thing we want to do is we want to draw a string. So we're going to do this g.drawString, my first applet. But unlike when we do system.out.println, we have to tell Java where to print this out. So we're going to print this out at the location 10, 10. It's going to place it on the at that position on the screen. And if we'll talk about this more later on, but at the upper left corner is where 0, 0 is in Java. All right, it's not in the middle of the screen. It's not the bottom left where it might be in math class. It's be the upper left, and to the right is positive in the X direction, and down is positive in the Y direction. So a little shift in paradigm for you perhaps, but I think you'll pick it up pretty quickly. The default color is black for the pen of our constructions. So we're going to set the color here to blue. All right, so in line 14, we've set this to the color to blue. And so now everything else will turn out blue. So we're going to draw the string rectangle, and then we're going to actually draw a rectangle. All right, so the way we draw a rectangle, g.drawRect, and then we have to give it 4 parameters. The 4 parameters, 10 and 70, represent the upper left corner of the of our shape. All right, so this would tell us that 10, 70 is upper right corner, and the width equals 50, and the height equals 30. All right, so that's going to be the size and position of our rectangle. Cool. I'm going to change the color over to red, and then we're going to draw a string, the filled rectangle. So this gives us the outline of a rectangle in the g.drawRect. The g.fillRect will fill it in. Okay, so we're going to have a red filled in rectangle. Nice. We're going to change the color over to orange, and we're going to construct some ovals. All right, so we do a g.drawString oval, 200, 60. So that means that's where we're going to draw the string. And then the position of it, 270. So right below there we're going to draw the oval that is 50 wide by 70 tall. And the 200, 70 refers to upper right corner of our oval as if it were inscribed in a rectangle. All right, so that upper right corner isn't actually on the oval. It's it's where, if you drew a box around the oval, that 270 is the upper left quarter of that box. So that positions our oval on the screen. And so that was a draw oval. The next block is a fill oval. So we fill out the oval, 280, 70, 50, 30. So we put that in there. And we can also draw lines. All right, so we draw a line, and for the draw line, we're going to, the four parameters refers to the four parameters are the x1, y1, x2, y2, like we're back in geometry class or algebra class. The four parameters are the x1, y1, x2, y2, representing the endpoints of the line segment. The geometer in me says we don't want to really draw a line, we're really drawing a line segment, but draw a line gets to point across. So that's the way Java chose to code it. So that's how we're going to do it. So drawing the line, we give the two endpoints. So really the four coordinates involved will give us that drawing. We can also draw squares and circles, but there isn't a command for draw rect or draw circle. We only have rectangles and ovals. All right, so we can't do or a draw square, I should say. It doesn't exist. But we can draw a rectangle that is 40 by 40, and that would be, in effect, a square. And we could make an oval that is also 40 by 40, so that would give it a diameter of 40 units. So that sets up our squares and our circles. And there's a little challenge here that we'll come back to, but I want to just check that this all compiles, and it does. And we're going to check out and see how this looks when we run it. So we're going to run the applet. This up here. So, and I should do that a little more slowly. This is the first time we're doing this. We right click on here and we choose Run Applet. And the default applet in the applet viewer is perfect. So we're going to do that. And here it pops up. I just have to bring it into position. So we can see we have a line there's our draw line that was in there. And our rectangle, our filled rectangle, our oval, our filled oval, our square, and our filled circle. So very nice. We can see that initially the default was black. We hadn't changed the color. And notice that turns out to be black. And then all the pen changes as we go through. And we get different shapes and the associated strings in the right color. So it looks great. So let's X out of here. And let's just look at this last challenge I have for you. So we know how to draw some basic shapes and how to place them on the canvas, how to change the color. So I want you to create a simple cartoon character. So 5 to 20 shapes. So it could be really simple with 5 shapes. It could be something a little more elaborate. And you want to have different colors and some text. You might want to give the name of your personal name and also the name of your character. So that is your challenge coming up now. So get to work. I look forward to seeing what you come up with.